In this lecture, we turn to a second major form of justice in healthcare ethics, procedural justice. While distributive justice asks who gets what, procedural justice asks a different but equally important question. Were the decision-making processes fair, consistent, and transparent? Procedural justice is concerned less with outcomes and more with how decisions are made. This distinction matters because in healthcare, not every decision will be popular, and not every outcome will feel fair to those affected. Procedural justice addresses whether decisions can still be ethically justified, even when the results are difficult. At its core, procedural justice recognizes that people are more likely to accept decisions, even unfavorable ones, when they believe the process itself was fair. Procedural justice rests on the idea that ethical legitimacy comes from just procedures. A fair process does not guarantee a perfect outcome, but it does ensure that decisions are made responsibly, accountably, and without arbitrary bias. This is especially important in healthcare, where decisions often involve uncertainty, time pressure, and competing values. When resources are scarce or risks are high, the integrity of the process becomes a central ethical concern. Let's examine the core features that define procedural justice. The first feature is transparency. Transparency requires that decision-making processes be open and understandable. This does not mean that every detail must be public, but it does mean that the rules, criteria, and rationales behind decisions are clearly communicated. In healthcare, transparency builds trust. Patients and families are more likely to accept difficult decisions when they understand how and why those decisions were made. Lack of transparency, by contrast, can lead to suspicion, moral distress, and loss of confidence in institutions. The second feature is consistency. Consistency means that similar cases are treated in similar ways, across time and across individuals. Decisions should not depend on who is on duty, who is asking, or who has influence. Inconsistent decision-making undermines fairness and opens the door to bias. Procedural justice demands that policies and protocols be applied reliably, even when doing so is emotionally or politically difficult. Consistency also protects healthcare professionals by providing clear guidance and reducing moral uncertainty. The third feature is impartiality. Impartiality requires that decisions be made without favoritism, discrimination, or personal interest. Decision makers must set aside irrelevant factors such as race, wealth, social status, or personal relationships. In healthcare ethics, impartiality reinforces the principle that all persons deserve equal moral consideration. It also supports professional integrity by separating ethical judgment from personal bias. Impartiality does not mean ignoring clinically relevant differences. Rather, it means excluding ethically irrelevant ones. The fourth feature is due process. Due process ensures that decisions follow established procedures and that those affected are treated with respect and dignity. This includes proper documentation, deliberation, and adherence to institutional policies. In healthcare, due process is especially important in high-stakes decisions involving end-of-life care, research participation, or resource allocation. It protects patients, families, and professionals by ensuring that decisions are not rushed, arbitrary, or hidden. The final feature is opportunity for appeal. Procedural justice recognizes that no system is perfect. Providing a mechanism for appeal allows decisions to be reviewed, questioned, and revised when appropriate. Appeal processes promote accountability and continuous improvement. They also communicate respect for patients and families by acknowledging that their perspectives matter. In healthcare, appeals may take the form of ethics consultations, second opinions, or formal review processes. Procedural justice plays a central role in many healthcare institutions. Consider hospital ethics committee deliberations. These committees exist to ensure that ethically complex decisions are reviewed through structured, interdisciplinary discussion rather than left to individual judgment alone. Their legitimacy rests not on guaranteeing agreement, but on ensuring fairness in the deliberative process. Triage protocols are another example. During emergencies, protocols guide clinicians in making rapid, high-stakes decisions. Even when outcomes are tragic, ethically sound triage depends on transparent criteria applied consistently and impartially. Finally, institutional review boards, or IRBs, exemplify procedural justice in research ethics. IRBs do not guarantee that every research study will be risk-free, but they ensure that risks and benefits are evaluated through standardized, independent review before human subjects are involved. To conclude, procedural justice reminds us that ethical healthcare is not only about what decisions we make, but how we make them. Fair processes protect trust, legitimacy, and moral integrity, especially when outcomes are uncertain or painful. In many cases, procedural justice is what allows healthcare systems to function ethically even under extreme pressure. When procedures are fair, transparent, and accountable, they provide the ethical foundation upon which responsible clinical and institutional decisions can stand.